Hello, I'm Zack Schneider, and you're watching AroundTheMonitor.com. Tim Rogers is a somewhat prolific name in the video games journalism industry. He has written for many different outlets, including his current job for Kotaku.com. He is also the co-founder of Action Button Entertainment, developers of games like Ziggurat and Video Ball, a game I've seen a Let's Play for that looked
Nick! Yes! We win! Are you
pretty fun. Despite this, some people would say that he was born stupid. In fact, Tim Rogers himself says this at the end of every video review he does.
Because I was born stupid. However, I will not die hungry.
But this video isn't a review of Tim Rogers. It's a review of Tim Rogers' style of review, in the style of a Tim Rogers review. Wow. Tim Rogers' name is synonymous with the concept of new games journalism, a term coined by Kieran Gillen, a comic book writer and former games journalist himself. Whereas games journalism used to be somewhat procedural reviews of video games and where to find them, new games journalism, to quote Mr. Gillen, rejects this and argues that the worth of a video game lies not in the game, but in the gamer. What a gamer feels and thinks as this alien construct takes over all their sensory inputs is what's interesting here, not just the mechanics of how it got there. Games have always been digital hallucinogens, but games journalism has been like chemistry, discussing the binding reactions to brain sites. What I'm suggesting says what it feels like as the chemical kicks in and reality is remixed around you. Now, that's a pretty wild quote, dude. But to me, this is to say that I don't want to watch a video review of a game on YouTube just because I want to be told about how that game controls and plays. But I want that delicious meal of a review to be salted and peppered with personal anecdotes from the reviewer, which in turn endears the reviewer to me and makes me say, this person sounds like a cool friend talking about a video game, and while doing so, gets sidetracked in weird stories, just like I do in my own life.
By the way, Growlin' Sally is literally what I called my police car back when I used to drive a decommissioned Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. And yes, I did choose the name Growlin' Sally because it rhymed so well with prowlin' on down Clown Alley. I only ever said that by myself, usually when driving the car at night.
In most of his videos, Tim Rogers cannot go very long without doing this, and it works much to his credit. Now, Tim Rogers and I have had very different lives. He has lived a decade of life longer than me, and in this time spent approximately a decade of that life living in Japan. In fact, at the start of his videos, he throws up a list of many occupations and skills that he has performed and possesses. This has given him vastly different experiences than me, and every time he sidetracks into a personal anecdote, I stand enraptured like a child listening to a sweet-ass story from their cool uncle who traveled abroad for many years. I was first introduced to him from a friend suggesting I watch Kotaku's video review of Dragon Quest XI. My friend is a huge Dragon Quest fan. At the time, we were roommates, and I think he wanted me to get the game so we could play it and talk about it together. When he first sent me the link, I scoffed. The video is 36 minutes and 17 seconds long. While I was no stranger to long-form video game reviews, being a huge fan of both Joseph Anderson and Matthew Mentosis on YouTube, but knowing how stuffy some reviews coming from major outlets could be, I doubted I would watch the whole thing. Much to my surprise, I consumed it all in one sitting, like a bag of salt and vinegar chips. Except, instead of destroying all of my taste buds for half of a week, this left me hungry for more. And much unlike the long-form reviews of Mr. Anderson and Mr. Matosis, which often stick to a more serious tone, Tim Rogers' video was not like that at all. He described the game as a hangout game. I would call Tim Rogers' reviews hangout reviews. You're just listening to your bud, just hearing stories from your bud. He's a good bud. While not personally responsible for the style of games journalism, there are traces of its spread everywhere you look. As content consumers, we don't return to a channel because the reviews are good. We return to a channel because we like the reviewer. And judging by how quickly I swarm to consume more of Mr. Rogers' content, I will be returning to Kotaku to see his next video. One final interesting story is that Tim Rogers' favorite number is 108. He likes the number so much that it is his handle on Twitter. My favorite number is 59. At first, when realizing this, I momentarily thought that my favorite number was exactly half of his favorite number. But then I realized I have a degree in acting, and as such, I haven't taken a math class for over 10 years, which, coincidentally, is exactly the number by which I was wrong. But hey, maybe I was born stupid. However, I will not die hungry. Video games forever, aroundthemonitor.com. Okay, I don't actually own this URL, but I definitely should.